Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. So today we are reviewing the new Fenty Beauty Galaxy palette from the Fenty Beauty Holiday Collection. We are so excited to do this video. Originally we were not planning to purchase anything from the Holiday Collection because we spent so much on Rihanna's first launch of just the Fenty Beauty line in itself, but then we came across this palette at Sephora and we were like, we kind of have to do this. So we bought it
so beautifully. And we honestly don't have anything like this, and I don't think there is anything like this in the market at all. This palette is all shimmer. It has no matte colors. Everything is just like holographic almost. It's really nice, and I think this is a perfect holiday palette, and it's so versatile. And this is one of those palettes that you have to pair with another palette to create a look because there is no matte shadows in there. So I just feel like it's a staple.
We bought this palette on the day it launched and its first day in Sephora, and this palette is actually limited edition, so after the holidays it will no longer exist. Maybe for like $200 on eBay and Amazon, but it would no longer exist in Sephora or on the Fenty Beauty website or anything like that. So I kind of feel like this is a collectible. This is a one of a kind, and I really did want to get my hands on this because I'm such a fan of the Fenty Beauty line that I felt like I needed this. So today we are reviewing the palette for you guys.
We're going to create like this really nice intergalactic fun avant-garde look, and we're just gonna have fun and push the limits with this palette and see how creative we can get.
So let's get started.
To moisturize, we're using the First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cream. As our primer, we're using the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Primer Soft Matte.
And for our foundation, we are using the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Foundation in the shade 380 and the Fenty Beauty Foundation Brush, the 110 brush. Okay, now moving on to the eyes. The both of us have decided to do very different looks, sticking to the whole galaxy theme. We want to show you guys two ways to use this palette. We want to be able to like touch on different colors in the palette, so we decided to just use different shades in general.
I think Ashley's going for more of a brighter, more on the orange scale
with some purple and some gold.
And I'm doing more blues, green, purples, more on the darker spectrum.
So let's get started.
So because the Fenty Beauty Galaxy palette doesn't have any mattes in it, it's just shimmers, we're going to use the Morphe. I'm going to use the Morphe 35S palette. This has a lot of fun colors in there, so I think that'll work well for my look.
And I am using the Morphe 35O palette. It has a lot of the orange shades I'm looking for. So yeah, let's just get started. The first shade I'm going to use is this one over here. It's like this warm red orange shade, and that would be my transition color. Okay, first we are concealing, which is priming our eyelids so the colors can be brighter and they will pop more on our lids.
I just used Fenty Beauty Caramel Matchstick.
And I wanted to go for a more lighter shade, so I used ColourPop's Pro Conceal Concealer, and I believe tan or Golden 40?
Golden 40.
Okay, now we're dipping into the Fenty Beauty Holiday Galaxy palette. I'm going to dip into this purple shade right here. It's called Ultraviolet. Okay, and I'm going to use this color right here. It's called Cosmic Ocean. as purple and vibrant I thought. I might need to put a base down.
Ooh, sparkly. I really like it. And I'm putting this like everywhere that I put the blue. But I'm patting it down, and I think when you pat it down, you don't move the product around too much, so it stays exactly where you put it. And that's how you can get the most pigment out of it.
I really like it. The shadows aren't that pigmented in color up against another shade, so I'm going to take a purple base. I think I'm going to take probably...
Ooh, this was really nice.
I'm going to take this shade right here from the Morphe 35S palette.
That's so pretty. I really like this palette so far. I think it's just so genius. Like, it's a great, I love the formula. It's very chunky, and usually I don't like that, but it's fun for makeup like this, where it's super avant-garde and you kind of want the chunky glitter. It's a lot of fallout though, but that's okay.
And I've realized that a lot of the time when we see Rihanna out now, ever since the Fenty Beauty line launch, she has been wearing a lot of avant-garde looks.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really like everyday traditional wearable looks. She goes really like, she strobes out her highlight like all on the side of her face. She wears these fun bright colors on her eyes, and I'm here for it. I think it's a style, it's a vibe, it's trendy now.
Well, I mean, no shade, but it's definitely promotion for her beauty line. That's why she does that. But it looks great.
It looks good, you know.
Next, I'm going to take this color right here, and this color is called Space Out, and I'm going to put that on top of the purple. The employees that worked at Sephora, the one that I went to, said that they played around with the palette and they found out that it works better when you wet the brush. Now, I think for certain shadows, like the blue one, it was perfect on its own. I don't think I need to wet it. I think it's pretty pigmented on its own. The purple one I might have to wet because it is being a little bit more stubborn.
I think some shades are more pigmented and the other ones are more iridescent. So it takes a base color and it takes, you know, some extra effort. Alright, back into the Fenty Beauty palette, Ultraviolet. Now I'm going to take the purple. Trying to figure out the best way to pick up product. You guys, I don't know if this ultraviolet shadow is doing it for me at all. I don't think it's pigmented. All I'm getting,
brush.
Okay, all I'm getting is glitter.
So I think I'm gonna take this color. It's called Sublime right here. To me, it looks more bluish, like a really light blue. But on the packaging, it looks green. So I think I'm just gonna take my chances and try it and put it on the center of my lid.
Okay, I'm still trying to work with ultraviolet here. I want this one to work well. I wet the brush. And it actually looks a lot more pigmented on the brush now. So, oh my god, fallout. Okay, hold on.
I like it.
I'm just not getting the purple from the shadow. Oh wait, I think, okay.
I'm gonna wet the brush a little to see if the pigment, it gets a little bit more pigmented. Okay. Yes.
This purple is not where I wanted it to be. Maybe I'll try the other purple shadow in this palette. How are these shadows described? Let's read on the back. Hyper reflective sparkle, phenomenal 3D flex, infinite new dimensions, reflects ultra silicence, tendencies. Oh, this is different language. Okay, so reflective, I guess that's what it's doing. I don't know, I guess I expected a lot more pigment, but maybe these are just like, just colorful sparkles.
She used the word 3D, which I don't really understand because I don't, 3D, does she mean chunky glitter? Because I don't understand what 3D means. in this sense. So
is it supposed to look like it has texture? Like,
is that what it means? Because I don't see texture. I see just glitter.
You know what? Let's use my hands and see what this does to the shadows. All right, it picks up very well on the fingers if you dip it in. I think that's better. I think that packs on a lot more pigmented. Okay, so let's do, yeah. It definitely goes on more evenly.
These are just, I think they're a little bit more iridescent than anything. I wouldn't necessarily call these, I don't know if I would call these shadows, you know?
Yeah.
Because to me, when a shadow should be pigmented, it's pigmented, but I don't think, it's just more like fun makeup, you know? Like,
yeah, almost like Halloween costume makeup. To me, I don't know, like it's definitely not the same formula or the same even like texture or effect as a regular shimmer shadow. It's not. It's more like just colorful glitter in a pot, and that's all I'm getting here.
And I don't
pressed glitter.
And this does sound a little harsh, but not to say that I don't like the palette. I like the palette. I just think it's marketed a little incorrectly. Like, this is, okay, for Rihanna, this is a perfect time to drop this palette because Halloween is coming up.
Right.
The holidays are coming up. People like to wear glitter on their face. So this makes sense, but it's definitely not a palette that you can use on its own. You have to pair it with something else and to create a look.
The fallout is ridiculous.
Glitter. So
yes, but like, is it a shadow? That's what I'm trying to get from this.
Like, I feel like this, like these are more shadows, because even though they are, I think they're more shadowy than they are glittery. These I think are more glittery than they are shadow.
Does that make sense? Like,
I think the ratio is different. I think the ratio is off to call this a shadow.
My face, y'all. I feel like you definitely need to do your you need to do your eyes before foundation if you're gonna use this palette. Oh my god, my under eyes are like ruined.
Luckily, I don't mind it as much because
this is the look we're going for.
Yeah,
but if you were just trying to get ready for the club, do your eyes first.
I'm gonna use one of these colors as a highlighter, and we'll see how that works.
Another thing, I really love how she included this on the back and then colored them, because a lot of brands just show like it looks like this on the back, and this is not helpful to me at all. I get so confused at which way we're looking at. Are we looking at left or right? Like, I don't know. So this is super helpful. This is a great idea. I think every brand needs to do that.
Some of these are printed backwards.
Right.
So what you think is here on this side is not going to be here. It's going to be like here, you know?
Yeah. Okay, we are done with our look. Final thoughts on the Fenty Beauty Galaxy palette, holiday collection palette. When I was doing my makeup, I remembered that, you know, this palette sort of has the same formula as the Anastasia Beverly Hills Ultimate Glow Kit, and I don't really like the formula in that one. You guys know that. We've talked about that before. It's just way too chunky and flaky, and this one is a little bit more finer. The glitter is a bit finer than the ABH palette, but it's still very like not what you're hoping for it to be. Yeah, like, it goes everywhere. It's super flaky. This palette is $59, basically $60, which I think is a lot for the palette. It's great packaging, and there's a mirror inside, which I think bumps up the price, but I think $60 is just a lot.
Yeah.
That being said, that is how we feel about this palette. But thank you so much for watching today. Don't forget to leave a comment, to like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.